Okay. Hello, Sanki family. It's my pleasure to be with all of you today here. And in this section, we are just, I'm going to say like a launching this section. And I would love to call it how you did it and how you can inspire other people to do the same. And today, I'm pleased to have with me in this interview a great leader, someone that since day one, when I met him, he just expressed to me all the desire and all the burning desire that he has to get success. And when we share about his past story and all the things that he has been accomplishing in his life, I just get amazed. And I'm say, oh my God, this is gonna be great. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be great for me as a person to work with someone like him and that has been dedicated his life to this amazing industry. So I place honor to have him in the Sanki family as a part of the Sanki family and one of the most important leaders. Since he started with us in Sanki, he has been always helping a lot of people on how to explain the things, how to simplify the things, how to make it look simple, how to explain, how to do the compliance, how to achieve the goals, how to celebrate, how to edify, how to do a lot of things because he's a professional in this industry. So I'm very honored and I feel honored and thank you, Mr. Tim Trahan, to be with me today in this short interview. And I think that we want to start with something easy, like tell us who is Tim Trahan? What can define you today?
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm Tim Trahan is a regular, ordinary, everyday guy who just tried to do exactly what your parents teach you to do in the overall goal of life, which is to go to school, get good grades, get out of school, and try to build the quote unquote American dream. I was just a person that was blessed to be gifted athletically, so my athletic talents took me a long way. I paid for my education in college. And I had actually two avenues that I could have taken. I could have played professional baseball if I wanted to, because I got drafted out of high school as a shortstop. But I chose to go to college and play football because football was really my passion. So, me going to college, playing football, I was blessed to make it to the next level as well. Injury cut that short, but guess what? I walked away with a degree, went to work in corporate America, and made a really good living. I was making, close to six figures 20 some odd years ago in corporate America until I found this awesome industry that really I had no idea that I was actually involved in the direct sales, multi-level marketing industry when I was, because when I was first introduced at about 19 years of age, my brother was with a telecommunications company, and he called me one day and said, hey, if you can get all your teammates to switch their long distance carrier to this particular company, I'll pay you on a monthly basis based on the number of teammates that you get switched over. So, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just having teammates switch their long distance. And before I know it, $200 a week, a month turned into about $2,000 a month just for me switching those people over on long distance. So that was my introduction. But I didn't know how to build. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't even know I was in network marketing. I just was doing something that my brother had asked me to do until, several years later, after I was done playing football, I was in corporate America. And my next door neighbor told me that I would be great at this business opportunity. He gave me a VHS tape. You remember back then you had the big VHS tape.
Yeah.
He gave me the VHS tape for me to take a look at it. I looked at it.
So that was the duplication process back then.
Absolutely. So I looked at the tape and it was very intriguing to me. And I told him, well, hey, you know what? The business concept might not be for me at the time, but I'll definitely support his business. And I did that. I got started with him as a customer. And then one day he took me to a Super Saturday. So I didn't even know where I was going. I was actually out in front of my front yard cutting grass. He had just bought a brand new Lincoln Navigator, and I definitely saw his life starting to change. But I thought that I was doing well at the time. I had a nice house. Both myself and my wife both drove luxury cars, so I figured I didn't need a network marketing per se opportunity. But when he took me to this presentation, now I'll set the stage for you. I was outside cutting grass, so I had a sweatsuit on, So he takes me to this hotel briefing where all of these professional people are, and I'm sitting in the front row with a sweatsuit on. So needless to say, I was a little upset. But what intrigued me the most about it was the gentleman in the front of the room was only a couple of years older than me, and he was doing about $30,000 a month. And at that point, that's where he spoke to me after the presentation about leverage and how important leverage was. And he said, if you don't have leverage in your life, you don't have life. Because if you work in a linear income situation, you're trading time for dollars, as opposed to leverage. You're getting a large group of people to do a few simple things over a consistent period of time. And I love the concept of that. So, I jumped in with that company. My first month did about $800 with that company. 3 months in, I had matched my full-time income on my job. 6 months in, I had matched my full-time income on my job. By the end of the first year, I was making over $100,000 in my part-time business. So ran with that company for several years. And when I looked up, man, it was, over $2 million later, and just been a fan of the industry ever since. So that's who I am. That's what I've been able to accomplish, in the industry. Been at the top of some really good companies over my 20 plus years experience. And it's just fun. It's just fun. I love helping people. And I always tell people it has to be more about the mission than it is about the money, because I guarantee you the money will come. But if the mission is in the right place, that's sustainable business. So the mission has to be something that's at the forefront. And that's what I loved about this company, is 100% mission driven. And when I met you, and you set the foundation for what it is that we were looking to do when we all flew down to Florida. It just made sense for me to partner. It was that simple for me.
Well, and I do appreciate that, of course. As I tell before, it was an honor to meet you that day and be with someone as professional as you are in this industry. But let me ask you something. In addition of who you are in that professional level as a network marketer or inside of the network marketing industry, who you are as a person. I know that you're a father. Tell us a little bit about your personal life. What is to be like Tim Trahan in one regular day?
Oh man, it's real simple. I'm a dad. I'm a coach. Of course, I'm a husband and a grandfather. The things that I love to do really is spending time with family. I love just hanging out, spending time with my family, and helping people. I'm 100% about helping folks. I love to just be a part of communities that are like-minded individuals that are moving in a specific direction. It has, really nothing to do with the industry and network marketing. I guess that's probably why I've been able to be successful, is because of those philosophies that I have. But I'm a family guy, and I believe that, family is everything. And when you're able to have family and to teach family, and to be able to coach my own kids. I used to coach my daughter when she ran track in high school. I'm coaching my son now. I also coach, high school football athletes and baseball athletes, and also coach softball girls. So that's just who I am. I love being around people. I love coaching people. I love mentoring. That's I guess my DNA. That's what I love to do.
Amazing. And in your personal life, what did you enjoy to do the most? What is like your passion? Like I love to work out. I love to play golf. What is your passion in the
right? Yes, my passion is two things. I love working out, first and foremost, but I love coaching. I love seeing, being able to take, I guess, like an athlete who might have been like a raw lump of clay, and to be able to mold that athlete, to be able to see the development in them, to be able to watch them grow. I love working out with my son, just to see when that light bulb comes on in his eyes and he finally gets it, and it becomes easy to him. So he starts to know and understand all the hard work that he put in was for a reason. And that's really with anybody that I coach. I love to be able to see that development, if you will, to take them from where they were to reaching their maximum potential. I think it's nothing more gratifying in the world than to be able to help somebody to reach their maximum potential. So that's what I love doing outside of working out myself.
Amazing. I'm sure that all our Sanki family members will love to hear that from you, because we are used to hear you just from the business perspective. And 100% sure that it's more important to listen to the person, to who is behind those numbers and those knowledge and the knowledge that you're sharing with everyone every day. So yeah, I guess that coaching is very similar to our industry, because that's part of the foundation of this industry, that we need to teach everyone everything that we know. And when we talk with someone that just joined in the industry, or someone that just joined your team, you want to teach everything that you know, because you want to create that duplication. You want to create better people than yourself in your team, so you can really create the leverage that you were talking about. And that's something that, unfortunately, maybe it doesn't happen very often in the corporate world. People are jealous and they don't want to teach you what they know, and they want to keep the things secret. And here we are in the opposite. So that's why I'm saying that we are in the industry of giving, because we can give everything that we have, and we are dedicating our lives to give everything that we have to other people. Because we say here in Sanki, we say the only way to multiply the happiness is to divide it. And so we divide the happiness among a lot of people, so we can multiply it in a lot of happiness. And let's talk about a little bit. What is your I'm gonna say like your mentor? Who is Tim Trahan mentor? Who is your role model to follow? Who are your best speakers? The people that you listen on a daily basis, the books that you read.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a long list over the years. Og Mandino, Zig Ziglar, a gentleman named Paul J. Meyer, who I had the opportunity to actually visit his home and learn some real good things from him. Probably some of the most important things that I learned in the industry came from him, and his whole mission that he used to speak about was giving it all away. And he says he's found it impossible because of the blessings that he continues receiving, because he's always trying to give everything that he has away. And it just keeps coming back to him tenfold. So he finds himself in a situation where he has to start that giving process all over again. So I learned a lot from him. As far as authors, John C. Maxwell, I love all of his books. I've been to several of his trainings as well. Les Brown, been to several of Les Brown's trainings. I've also had the opportunity to actually work with Les Brown in a previous company, one of the first companies that I actually got involved in. Les Brown was part of that company as well. Also, I can't remember his name right now, but he's real big in Primerica. Where he actually presented at a few conferences that we had with another business that I was in. Art Williams, just a lot of folks in the industry that I've had the opportunity to learn from. Eric Worre, I worked personally with him. I actually helped him. Well, I don't want to say help him. I was part of the launch of one of his companies. I was one of the first folks that actually flew out to his home and had an opportunity to sit in with him and some of his partners when they were getting ready to launch a health and wellness company. So of course, Eric Worre, of course, Dr. Helen De La Houssaye, who I found out through the industry that we're actually blood relatives. And that's just so fabulous when you find out that you're actually related to certain people in the industry. One of my biggest mentors, actually two of them that I work personally with, who were, they're multi-million-dollar earners in the industry as well. One of which is a gentleman named Antonio Adair, who he and I built one of the largest organizations in a previous company together. And then another gentleman named Mr. Darnell Self, who he also has one of the largest organizations in another company as well. So the list just goes on and on and on. And the thing about it, and what I loved about the industry as a whole, you always have something to learn from somebody. And it doesn't even have to be a multi-million-dollar earner. It could be somebody that's might be 4 or 5, 10, 15 levels deep in your organization that you meet at a conference or something that you might not even know they were in your group, but they have something very important and valuable that they bring that you can learn from them. So I've also had, folks that have been in my success line that I've learned a lot from as well. So it's a fantastic situation when you're able to learn from as many people as we do in this industry. And as long as you're open to learn, then you're always growing. And that's my main focus in this industry is to always become better, to continue to grow, and to help as many people as I can do the same.
Yeah, I mean, for the people that is listening to us, or people that will listen this interview in social media, in our channels, how, from 1 to 10, how important you think that is going to be this personal development area in your life to really achieve the success that we all are destined to have, but some of us or some people is not really putting the effort, and they're not developing themselves. They think first in the money and what I'm going to get first, instead to prepare themselves first for that success. So
Absolutely.
how important do you think that is going to be this personal development? When I listen to you with all of these authors and celebrities and famous people that has been through the industry, or that are still in the industry, a lot of names came to my mind as well, because some of the mentors that you did mention were my mentors as well. So, and I'm a big believer of self development and reading and philosophy, a lot of these things. But in your opinion, as a leader right now in Sanki Global, what is your opinion about the self-development? How important do you consider that it is?
I think a personal development is probably the single most important thing in the industry of direct sales, but even outside of direct sales. If you're a person that's still in corporate America, the only way that you can continue to strive to be the best is to continue to learn. So personal development is key to any successful person. So it's not just relegated specifically to network marketing, but it's anything that you tend to become a professional in, that you want to be the best you can be. And it's personal development is the number one key. I learned by one of my mentors a long time ago. He said, first you pour into your mind, and then your mind will pour into your purse. So, you can't get the millions physically before you become a millionaire mentally. Because what will happen is you'll get the millions, like a lot of folks win the lottery, right? And then 2-3 years later, they're broke because they haven't developed the millionaire mindset. So what'll always happen is this: if you get the money before you develop the mindset, the money will always come back to the person that you are. So if I gave a person $1 million tomorrow, but in their mind, they're only a $60,000 a year guy, then if they don't personally develop, they'll never grow to the millions, but the millions will definitely come back to being that $60,000 a year person. So you always got to continue to sharpen your blade, right? They said a long time ago, if I'm gonna chop down a tree, how would I do it? Well, I just go out there to start swinging on the tree, and it might take me 10 hours to chop that tree down. Or do I spend 4 hours sharpening the blade and then 1 hour chopping down the tree? So you want to sharpen your blade, and the only way you can continue to sharpen your blade is by continually to personally develop, going to the trainings, going to the seminars, reading the books, everything that you need to do to continue to master your craft, whatever that craft is, inside of the industry of network marketing or outside of the industry of network marketing. And that's just always something that I didn't know what I was doing as a young person, but as I became older, it resonated with me, because I would have never made it to become a professional athlete if I didn't first personally develop, work on me, work on my craft, continue to sharpen my craft, continue to learn from other athletes that had been there prior to me, to tell me the things that I needed to do to continue to become successful. Same thing happened here in the industry. My mentors always told me, hey man, if you want to get to the millions, you got to become a millionaire first. And that's something that I continue to live by. And I think that is the ultimate responsibility of anybody that comes into this industry. You want to sharpen your blade. You want to do as much personal development as you possibly can, read as many books as you can, and just continue to develop, because that's what's gonna take you to where you need to be as a person, to help as many people as possible. And then, like I said, that becomes the mission, and then the mission will always supersede the money, but the money will catch up to the mission.
Yeah, and for the new people, the average people that is joining your team, for example, or other leaders' teams in this company, sounds great when you hear, because I was in the same place a couple of years ago. I started my career, as you know, 20 years ago in this amazing industry. And when you hear leaders like you talking about reading more books, personal development, it's here's easy, but when it's easy to do, it's easy to do not do. Jim Brown used to say that. So what can you tell to all of these new people that is joining this amazing journey, that they want to build and create a legacy movement? How can they start? What will be the first steps that somebody needs to do in order to create that consistency?
Okay. Okay. So the first thing that you want to do, okay, with any company that you get involved with, you want to learn as much as you can about the company. So it's one thing to get into the business, but until you know and understand what's going on with the company, then the business is not into you, right? You want to get to a point where you inoculate yourself in that culture, okay, in those systems that the company provides for you to have the ultimate success. And then within that is the personal development aspect as well. So you want to, you know, of course you make your list and you do all the things that you need to do, but at the same time, if you don't know how to execute the list, so you can write down 400 or 500 names, but now what do I do with the 400 or 500 names that I've written down? What's my next step? So you master the process, all right, which is the contacting and inviting, using third-party validation, not relying on your own skill set to actually try to get people in the business. Because what I tell brand new people is this: systems duplicate, people don't. And they try to understand, well, what do you mean? Then don't you want me to duplicate? Yeah, I want you to duplicate the system, because everybody might not have your personality. Everybody might not have your skill set, but everybody could plug into a system that's proven to work. So we want to inoculate each and every new person in the system, and doing the things that we know works within the system, and drive the system. That's what it's all about. So we're duplicating that system, because that's what the duplicatable model is. My skill set might not be the same skill set as Mr. Jose Manuel Arvida, right? So if Mr. Arvida is trying to duplicate himself through me, I don't have that same skill set, right? So it won't work for me. But if Jose says, hey Tim, here's the system, let me teach you how to work through the system. Now guess what? Now that's duplicatable. Now I can do the exact same thing. I don't have to complicate it. I don't have to put my personal personality in it, because we're going to duplicate that system. So if every brand new person learn that aspect alone, just the duplication piece and plugging into systems, then that will cut the learning curve in half. And of course, that's on top of the personal development of reading the books, and it's a tiered step. I mean, you don't want to just jump in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership and you haven't first learned how to follow, right? You got to learn how to follow before you know how to lead. So that would be counterproductive if a leader, the first book they give to one of their brand new people is the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, because it's not going to make sense to them unless they come from like maybe a corporate background or something like that, where they've led large groups of people. Then of course, yes, you can do that. But for the average everyday person, you got to step into it, right? You got to start off with, Dale Carnegie's book, and those kind of things that gives them a strong foundation and is applicable to what it is that we're trying to get them to know and understand. And then we could teach them how to lead. And my number one philosophy is, you first got to learn how to be number one at being number two before you could take over the number one spot. So my thing is servant leadership. Serve until it's time for you to leave. Until it's time for you to lead. So that is the number one thing that I think can be taken away from anybody at any level coming into any business in the direct sales / network marketing industry is learn from the leadership, learn the systems, and duplicate the systems, and don't try to duplicate a particular person. So that's my main takeaway from that. Hopefully it made sense to everybody that's listening, but that's what my main takeaway as far as that is. And if we're able to master that, now you can move the masses.
Yeah, I hear once that to be the best leader, you need to be the best follower.
Absolutely.
Uh, you always need to be, you always need to have someone to follow in order to become valuable and to start giving value to other people so they can start following you.
Absolutely.
But it's an art. It's an art. To be a leader is not easy. It requires a lot of responsibility. But like you say, the most important thing is to create the right foundation. And here in Sanki, we have something that we call the duplicator structure to create that solid foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we talked about this before, and we say, okay, let's talk about how we can achieve the duplicator structure. And today I want to use this opportunity as well to ask you,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Tim, how you did it. I mean, what was the trigger inside of you, your why, your this burning desire when you joined the company that said, okay, I need to do duplicator. What was it? And then how you make it possible and how long it takes to you.
Absolutely. Well, I got in and I got started right away. So I built a belief system in the products first and foremost because once we were there in Florida, and if you guys use a scanner on a couple of people's finger there, and we're able to see the before and afters with the scanner, and I actually felt something within about 15 or 20 minutes going on inside of myself. And I thought maybe that my mind was playing tricks on me. Maybe it's a placebo effect, but no. When I saw the scanner, so that immediately built my belief system right then and there. So now I know I can go back into the marketplace with a specific mission, because I always tell the story all the time. I'm a diabetic, been one for a long time, and I've always sought after healthy, natural ways to get myself off of insulin, and this has been that way. So that was the first thing that happened for me, is that belief system kicked in right away, because I knew the products did exactly what they said they would do. And it was at that point, now it's really word of mouth advertising. So when I looked at the compensation plan, and every company that I've ever been involved in, the whole purpose is getting people to that first corporately earned position as fast as possible. That's the fundamental stages. That's what leads to every other stage in the compensation plan, is being able to become a duplication factory, what I like to call a duplication nation, because everybody can achieve that first corporately earned position, and you celebrate that first corporately earned position, which in here is the duplicator position. That's the building block of everything. If you don't hit duplicator, there's no way that you're going to go all the way up to crown ambassador or any other of those positions. And not only do you have to hit the duplicator position, but you celebrate each and every person who hits that duplicator position. So that was the main thing for me. I knew I had to first and foremost show folks this is what we need to do to be able to build a solid foundation and to be able to maximize. The mission with this company is to show as many people as possible how to become a duplicator. I actually did that duplicator probably in my first 24 to 48 hours, just by using the system, right? Because I didn't know enough about the compensation plan at the time to actually explain it, sit down and explain it. But what I did do was I said, hey, listen, I'm gonna send you this YouTube video that I need you to take a look at. I just came back from Florida, sat down with some awesome people, and they got a brand new concept, a health and wellness company that's wrapped around the technology space, right? And they were like, what? How's that work? I said, that's exactly why you need to take a look at the video. I'm not equipped to explain it to you. I'm just taking a look at it for myself, but you are the first people that I'm bringing this to. Okay, and I did that probably, I blasted that text message out to maybe 15 or 20 people, and then I invited all of those people, right? Because that was the first exposure, and we all know in this industry, it's always about a series of exposures. It's never gonna, you might get lucky and be able to expose somebody one time and they like what they see right then and there and jump in, but it's all about a series of exposures. So the first thing I did was send that text message out asking them, if they were open to taking a look at something that I just stumbled across. Once they said yes, okay, here, take a look at this YouTube video, right? Because I didn't even know about the Sanki app at that time, so I was just using a YouTube video that I believe Dr. Helen might have sent me. That was with Dr. Bijita Deas on it. Okay, I used that. And then I invited them on to a lifestyle connect with you and Dr. Helen. And that's what I did. Now, of course, I invited, 25, 30 people in that lifestyle connect. And I believe out of that 25 or 30, 7 of them were actually on the call. And then out of the 7, 4 of them actually got started. So there it was, boom, duplicator right there. And if we can continue to master that situation, the door is wide open to everything and anything that we want to achieve in this company.
Yeah, and you mentioned something very important, which is the law of the average and how many people you need to call in order to how many people is going to be joining you. Even if the product is the best product, even if you're selling the best car brands, even if you're selling the best technology, people love Android and people love iPhone. So it's not about technology, it's about the brand, it's about different people, different things. Different people like different things. And some people are open and are at a specific time to open, to be open for a new business opportunity. And some others are not in that. It's not their momentum, it's not their time. So it's good for our folks to know, our Sanki family members, when they are starting and maybe the first no came or the first no will come, they don't say, oh my gosh, I'm done. I don't want to be with more no's in my life. But you went over maybe 14 no's in order to create a duplicator. But the question here is how fast you go. And you just mentioned that you just did it in 48 hours. So how fast you want to go through all of these no's in order to get your 4 yeses so you can create your duplicator foundation. And now you have a team that you can work with and start helping them to do the same. And that's why we call it duplicator structure, because that's the first thing that everybody needs to do in order to create this duplication process that will take you to ambassador and current ambassador and the big awards and lifestyle and all of these type of things, which is, of course, we know that it's not going to be for everyone, because not everyone is going to be diligently, is going to be consistent, is going to be loyal to their faith, loyal to their goals and these type of things. So I want to congratulate you and for achieving duplicator so fast, and because you understand that law and you understand that you need to move very fast. So hopefully this testimonial from you can inspire a lot of Sanki family members, and they say, okay, I need to run the race. Let's run it as soon as possible, as fast as possible. I used to tell in one of my trainings someone, like, if you are in a 100 meters race, you can do it in 3 days, or you can do it in 1 day, or you can do it in 6 seconds. So it's up to you, it's up to how fast you want to do it. You can make a step and go to the home and rest, or you can really go as fast as you can. You're going to be exhausted at the end of the race or at the end of the 100 meters, but you did it. And nothing is better than celebrate, as you say very well, to celebrate that achievement. So in this case, we want to invite everyone to achieve duplicator and let them know that it's not easy, but it's not difficult. It's just about being diligent. It's about having a why, having a purpose, and be very clear with the goal that they have in mind, and share with enough people so they understand what is going to be their average low, because each one is going to have a different one. Maybe for me, I need to talk with 50 people to get my first 4, and maybe someone needs to talk just with 4 to get 4. So I'm always saying that this is like a deck, when you buy a deck, you always are going to have 4 aces inside of the deck. But if you mix it and then you start opening one by one, you never know when the ace is going to come. You know that the ace is there, but you don't know how fast it will come. So this is how I see the list that you were mentioning, like I put 400 names, 500 names together. This is for me my deck. I have my deck with 52 names, for example, and I know that my 4 aces are there. So I just need to keep showing the next card, talking with the next person, 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 until I get my ace. But some of them are going to be good 10s, and some of them are going to be good queens, and some of them are going to be good 7s. Some of them are going to be good 10 or 1s or whatever. Every person is going to have a different percentage of activity inside of my business. So everyone is valuable in the overall to achieve the big goals.
Absolutely.
And let me ask you, just to finish this first interview, hopefully we can have more interviews, because there's a lot of things to talk to you as a leader, as a person, with all of this experience that you have. What motivates you right now? What is your goal? What is your why right now? What is your next steps? What do you want to achieve with Sanki, and how you're going to achieve it?
Okay. All right. Well, my why is a big why. Okay. Twofold. One of is I want to retire my wife. My wife is an administrator for a large school district out here in Texas. I want to retire her. Okay. I want to totally replace her income and be able to give her what she would be getting in her salary. Just give it to her just because I want to on a weekly basis. Okay. That's my first why. My second why is my kids. I want to create a situation for my children to where I build a legacy for them, right? To where they have something that they can tap into once I'm no longer here for themselves and for their children and so on and so forth. And this industry can definitely provide it. So those are the two things that are my driving force of why I'm doing what I'm doing. So and what was the next question again? So that was my why, and then you had another
Yeah,
question.
now what is your why today, and what are you trying to accomplish with Sanki? What is your next goals in Sanki? I
Yes.
understand now your big why,
Right.
but now that you're a duplicator, that you already achieved ranks, that now
Mhm.
you're moving forward, that you are in a different speed mode, I'm gonna say, what are
Right.
your steps, and what do you want to achieve?
Absolutely. So what I want to achieve, the overall goal for me is to create as many duplicators as I can. Because I know the law of reciprocity says, the more I help other people, the more I'll be blessed. And I live by that philosophy in my personal life as well. I'm naturally a giver, if you will. So I love helping people. So my ultimate goal in the next I say 90 to 180 days is to say maybe 50 duplicators. If I can create 50 duplicators in the next 90 days, then that's a great goal. But I want to overall, with my lifespan with this company, is to create as many duplicators as I can. But short-term goal, the next 90 days or so, 50 duplicators.
That's an awesome goal, and I'm totally agree with you that we need to give in order to receive. And this is one of the magics that Sanki has been proving for 10 years already. And now that we're launching in the States, that the more that we give, the more that we receive. And definitely this has been a blessed company. Mr. Tim Trahan, some final thoughts that you want to share with all the people that is listening to us today?
Sure, sure, sure. A couple of things. The one takeaway that everybody needs to take into consideration is what we in the industry call the law of large numbers, right? The law of large numbers simply states that 20% of the people will listen to what it is that you're saying. So what do you need to do is you need to increase the number so that 20% is a lot larger. And then out of that 20%, another 20% will actually get started in business with you. So that's the law of large numbers. So if I talk to 100 people, 20 people will take me serious. Out of that 20 people that take me serious, we're talking about maybe 4 or 5 will actually get started. So how do I increase that number to 10, 15, 20? Well, it has to go to 200, 300, 400 people to increase that 20%. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is this: everybody needs to know and understand that be mission driven, don't be financially driven. The money will come, but the mission is more important. People will follow missions more than they'll follow money, right? If the mission is right, the money will come. Always seek to be a blessing to as many people as you can. Always lead with your heart. Always listen to what people have to say. You always want to be interested in what they're saying before you want them to be interesting, or you want to be interesting to them, right? So be interested before you become interesting. And if you can follow those few simple concepts, business will be fantastic for you. And people telling you no won't even matter, because it's all about, trying to be a blessing to as many people as possible. And that's it.
Thank you. Thank you for those thoughts. And of course, let's not forget to be happy and enjoy every
Absolutely.
day and take
Absolutely.
our Belash every day, all day long to
Absolutely.
feel energy
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
and to achieve your high level of potential in your life. So I'm really happy for having this interview with you, Mr. Tim Trahan. Like I said at the beginning, it's an honor to have someone of your caliber with your story, with your experience in our Sanki family. So I just feel blessed to have someone like you in our Sanki family. So I want to thank you again for being with us today, and I hope that we can talk soon.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.